Welcome back to Black Man's Log. Here on Black Man's Log, age is just a number, okay? If it can be streamed or thrown in my Blu-ray player, I'm gonna review it. And by Blu-ray player, I mean PlayStation 4 because who has a Blu-ray player in 2020? Evil Dead, I'm on top of it. Soylent Green, consider it done. Citizen Kane, today we're going to be talking about the movie Inception. 10 years later, does it still hold up? The movie was on my mind for two reasons specifically. Reason number one, the wife had never seen it, so we had to correct that. Reason number two, when the movie theaters opened back up here locally, post-COVID, they needed to fill the movie theaters of actual content that people could go watch. So they started off with classics like Grease, Dirty Dancing, things like that. But then they also put out some more contemporary hits like Get Out, The Hangover, and Inception, which is why we're talking about it today. Inception, not to be confused with Conception, is a film regarding the inception of an idea of one's mind. But the inception is not entirely natural. It's manufactured by invading the subconscious of another's dream, planting the idea without them knowing, kick-starting the inception of that idea. It's a genius idea if it were all possible. The closest you can get to real-life inception is maybe a form of hypnosis. Yet the movie still holds up well, even years later. But it's hard to go wrong with big names on the film. DiCaprio, Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, Hans Zimmer on the music, written and directed by Christopher Nolan. What more do you want out of a movie? It's not one particular thing that makes the movie great. It's honestly the combination of everything. Stellar actor, amazing music, CGI visuals that hold up pretty well for 2020 standards, and a pretty straightforward objective complicated by the concept of dreaming. If you take a hard look at the writing of Inception, it gets away with the in media res style of storytelling while ignoring some of the obvious questions regarding the core concept of the movie. The aspect most central to the movie, the passive, is seldom explained. How does the machine work? How does it look up to multiple consciousnesses like a PS2 multi-tap? Who created it? What is this company they all work for? How deep is DiCaprio's father in on the concept of dream diving? The machine and the entire idea of diving into your dreams almost writes itself. Yet none of the above questions are answered. This is less of a plot hole and more of intentional storytelling. You only know what you need to know, just to keep you interested in the lore, but not too much to bore you and make the movie extremely long, which is important because Inception clocks in at 148 minutes. Not only do they manage to loosely explain the dream diving concept, they explain that architects are needed to create or modify the experience itself. The subconscious will naturally protect itself. You can train your subconscious to protect itself even more. And you get clever stuff like the entirety of the movie makes you question every scene. Is this a dream? Is this real life? Is this a dream within a dream? It's kind of like The Matrix, except it doesn't suck. The film also ends up being a 2-hour-long therapy session for DiCaprio's character Cobb. The primary objective of the film is that Cobb and his team pursue one last Inception job that'll get them all home to his faceless children. But the job proves difficult when they find out the target is able to defend himself. Watanabe's character Mr. Saito is shot, and the memory/guilt of Cobb's dead wife Mal is trying to screw up everything all the time. Ellen Page's character Ariadne is naturally curious about Cobb and understands the threat that Mal brings as they dive deeper into dreams. She helps him face his guilt for the original Inception. He planted an idea in his wife's head that the world they were living in was not real. This caused her to question reality of the real world, and she killed herself. Simultaneous to this plot is the final job they are completing, which is planting an idea in the mind of Cillian Murphy's character, Robert Fisher, to break up his father's empire. They do this by exploiting his terrible relationship with his father, which is pretty messed up, by the way, and capitalizing on the solid relationship he has with his uncle. They are naturally able to create the lie, giving him the push he needs to break up his father's empire. Saito makes the call, DiCaprio goes home, his children finally have faces, and the totem wobbles. Here's the rundown. 8 Academy Award nominations, won 4 All-Star cast, $160 million budget, $836 million in the box office, 4th highest grossing film of 2010, equals one of the greatest movies of all time. If you haven't seen this movie, and on the off chance that your local theater put it back up post quarantine, go experience it in a theater. If not, grab the Blu-ray, turn the volume to max because you do not want to miss the musical creativity of Hans Zimmer. Well, guys, that's all the time that I have for you today. I'll see you on the next Black Man's Log review.